Hello, everybody. I'm sorry I'm late. I actually am late because I was out feeding my soul. I was out actually today helping a friend do Meals on Wheels, and I knew it was going to cut it close, but thought I could make it, but I actually came running in right at noon, and I needed a minute to go to the bathroom and to get ready and all of that. So welcome to this week's episode of Tease Towel. I went through my episodes because I've been trying to track the different topics I've done because I don't want to do the same topic over. And as I went through them last night, I realized that this is week 19. I have done this for 19 weeks straight. So for those of you who have watched me and followed me and watched on replay and jumped in on live, thank you so much. I hope you found value in these. That's what I'm here for, is to try to provide value or entertain you in some way. So even if it's my bloopers that entertain you, so be it. I'm happy with that. But I hope you find some value in these. This week's topic is, are you feeding your soul or is it starving? And I thought of this topic because there's been so many things, and I do try to do this every day, but there's been so many activities and things that have happened over the last few days that have truly fed my soul. It started, there's so many, but just thinking of this, thinking about last Friday, I went kayaking down the Sugar River, and it was a beautiful morning, and the water was calm, and the birds were singing, and the trees, it was just so beautiful. I had never gone down the Sugar River in my kayak before, and it just moved me. For me, a lot of times feeding my soul moves me to tears. It just really reaches that deep emotional level. On Saturday, we went to some outdoor music, and even the music, if you enjoy the music and that really touches you, and then sitting outside and again looking at the trees and listening to the noises around me, it was just very, very fulfilling. Sunday I meditated. That's something that I'll talk about a little bit. And then Monday I did yoga. And that's definitely, I've just started getting back into yoga, and that's definitely something that really feeds my soul, because I do try to set an intention and to be very conscious in my breathing and what I'm doing as I do yoga. And then today I got to help a friend with Meals on Wheels. So that was wonderful, getting to do that kind of work that means so much to the people who we are doing it for. That can just feed your soul too. So what does it mean by feeding your soul? Really, it's doing an activity that brings you to, that you're being mindful, that mindfulness, and it brings you to that inner consciousness, that deepest inner center within you. It raises your consciousness. To me, and part of my it moving me to tears it's that raising your consciousness, getting into that place where you can hear your intuition, or you feel closer to God, and you can actually, in that state, sometimes hear God speak to you. So it's a really higher consciousness level of being at that moment that you're in that. And why is it important? It's really important because fear and anger and sorrow and despair, those are all things that emotions that we feel that can alter our perception of reality. It can change how we view things, and it can actually make a lot of times our troubles seem even magnified, because it distorts our perception of things. Hi, thanks Tracy. Hi Jan. Yes, thank you say hi you guys if you jump on, and I appreciate it, and I appreciate you joining me. Just like if our bodies are starving and we need food, hope is what we can feed our soul. And by feeding our soul with hope, it takes us to that next level in which we can feel joy and peace and and really be able to see things clearly and perceive things clearly. And just like no diet is for everyone, for our metaphysical self, there's no one for all fits everything, but there are some things that have been tried and true throughout history across the world that are practices that can be really good in helping to feed our soul. Really, the most powerful nourishment that we can give our soul is stillness, is that shh, that silence. And in that silence is where we can experience so much more. Just as I pause right here, I hear the birds outside. You know, by slowing our mind and stopping to breathe, even if you can stop and just focus on your breathing for 15 seconds, you start to put yourself in an alpha state, which is a state of meditation. So we are so busy and there's so much going on in our lives that we don't take the time to slow down. And if we can just slow down, it's very important to really feed our soul every day in some way or another, even if it's just for a few minutes. So there's a verse that says, be still, for I am God. And Eckhart Tolle, you've heard me talk about Eckhart Tolle. He's the one that wrote The Power of Now and many other books. But he takes that one concept and he says that it is 5 in 1, and that we should contemplate each. Be still. What is it? No, I am God. Just, you know, you could sit and contemplate, meditate, you know, really think about the meaning of each of those pieces of that phrase. And so that takes me into one of the first levels, one of the first things for working on feeding your soul is meditation. And I have been, you know, it's a hard practice and it's something that takes practice. And in my trainings with this, really one of the best ways for starting is just really focusing on your breathing, trying to get in a quiet place. Find a place and have that be your sacred place. Have that be your place that you do it every day, and ideally the same time every day. And start practicing focusing on your breathing. Now your mind is going to wander, and this is normal. Your mind is going to wander. You're going to hear a sound. You're going to, but acknowledge that and just accept that and refocus. And if you keep working on that, you can keep you get better and better at it. Actually, I just learned a new technique and have tried it, and it's really quite amazing too, is lighting a candle, having that in front of you, staring at that flame for 5 minutes, and then closing your eyes, and just what you see is amazing, but then just meditating for 5 minutes. So starting out with just a few minutes is fine, and it can be guided meditation. And actually what I do a lot of times is I put my earbuds in my ears and listen to either some music, some relaxing music, or a guided meditation. But having that in my ears kind of helps to tone out some of the other things. The other one, and this is the next one, and this is the one that does it the best for me, is go out in nature. If there's a creator, we can see it just outside our window. A self-portrait every day just outside our window. It's right there for us. And being out in nature calms and quiets the mind. And so those are times when I really reach that point the highest. So it can be just taking a walk in nature or just sitting outside in nature. If you've watched me for any of these years, you know I'm loved when I had our house to sit out on the porch. I'd sit on the porch. I'd sit on the back deck. I would sit out here on the balcony. Sometimes it's a little less relaxing because of the blare of the air conditioning right there. The vent is right there. So going for a walk or sitting out in nature somewhere, using your senses, looking at the beauty, listening to the sounds, smelling the smells, or doing an outdoor sport, an outdoor activity. Kayaking, that was just amazing doing that out there. Or gardening. It just being out in nature really calms our nervous system and helps us to hear our inner voice, to hear our intuition, or as I said, to hear God. The other one, which is what I was doing today and why I was late, is giving back to others. So by doing something for others in this world where it's so hard to see kindness and compassion, to give kindness and compassion to another human being, and to see that joy that brings them can be very, very moving and really can feed your soul. So if you want to do something like that, make sure you find a charity or a cause that means something to you, that you really believe in. And then the other tip with that is don't overcommit. So make sure it's the time required is something that can fit into your schedule, that you're not overcommitting, because then it becomes more of a chore instead of a joy. Spending time with people who truly make you happy. So that's those people that just being with them because of the love and the support and the lack of judgment, that feeds your soul, that time with them. And the one great thing with that one too is that you can feed their soul and they can feed yours. So spending time with others who really touch you, and not literally, who bring you joy and make you happy and support you is another great way. The last one that I have is in my list of things that do it for me is music. So there's certain, for example, this one. I went for a walk the other day and I wanted to try to meditate as I walk, because a lot of times I'll walk with if I'm just walking for exercise, I'll put an audible book in my ears and listen to that to distract me and help me to walk longer. But this day I really wanted to use my walk as my meditation. And so there's cognitive music that helps does stuff within your brain to help you to focus. But so what I put in on my Pandora was study music. Or what came up with study music. And I was able to, with my, and it was a lot of more kind of softer orchestra music. Some of it was piano. But what really does it for me is the violin and the cello. I think those are the most beautiful, beautiful instruments. And when I hear those, it just resonates in my heart and in my soul. So I was able to bypass some of the piano music, which I love piano music too, but it doesn't do that same thing for me, and really get the songs to be the violin and the cello as the main instruments, and they were not songs with words, it was just the music. And by the end I was in tears. It was just really, really fed my soul that day. So music can do it. You just have to get that kind of music that touches you down deep inside, and that and then let your soul move with the music. So that's my message. So for me, as I said, feeding my soul is really reaching that higher level of consciousness that allows me to be able to go within and to be able to hear my tuition, speak to God, hear God. I try to do that every day. And so as we talk about feeding your soul, so eat to the glory of God. I have a Bible verse for you to finish today, and it's may the God of hope fill you with joy and peace in believing, so by the power of the Holy Spirit you may abound in hope. That's Romans 15:13. It is that seeking that hope, that joy, that peace, that is what really feeds our soul, and being able to take us out of despair or sorrow or anger or fear. So that's my message for today, you guys. I hope you find it helpful. Message me if you have any questions. Please type in replay. If you watch this later, let me know if you found it valuable or if you have any questions. Thank you to those of you guys who hopped on today, and I will see you again next week on another version of Tease Tao. Have a great rest of the day, guys. Bye-bye.